Introduction to crop pests. Crop disease. As you've learned in the last unit, a diseased plant is one which is prevented from performing to its maximum potential due to an abnormal condition affecting the plant. A portion of the plant may be affected, or an entire plant may be impacted by a disease. Pests. Diseases originate from living organisms. A disease is considered infectious when it can spread between living organisms. As living organisms, pests can cause or transmit disease as well. In agriculture, pests impact crops and livestock. This presentation will review crop pests. Disease vectors. Recall from last unit that a disease vector is any living agent that carries and transmits a pathogen to another organism. A mosquito is an example of a disease vector because it can spread malaria. Many plant diseases are spread by insect disease vectors, including aphids, whiteflies, and psyllids. Whiteflies are of particular concern in the field of agriculture. We'll learn more about these later in the presentation. Pests. In agriculture, a pest is any organism that feeds on and damages plants that are growing or harvested, attacks plant products in the field or in storage, causes problems or transmits diseases to plants, man, domesticated animals, or livestock. Crop pests include, but are not limited to, insects, fungi, viruses, nematodes, weeds, rodents, and birds. A pest can also be identified as something that causes damage to a minimum of 5 to 10% of the crop yield. Insect pests. Insects make up the vast majority of crop pests. Insects are invertebrates that belong to the genus arthropods, a group that includes spiders and crustaceans. They can be found in nearly every habitat, including all of the climates that are hospitable to crop production. Insects are small in size, are highly adaptable, reproduce rapidly, are very mobile, are highly efficient at conserving water and food. Their extensive presence and the above factors make insect control of great importance to the farmer. Some insects are beneficial. They serve as pollinators of flowers and as predators to insects that are destructive. Other types of insects are harmful. They act as crop pests, disease carriers, or destroy stored crops. Crop damage due to insect pests can be either direct or indirect. Both are problematic, although direct damage is more destructive than indirect damage. Direct damage is when the part of the plant that will be harvested is attacked. Examples of direct damage include destruction to the leaves of tobacco, fruits of tomato, or tubers of cassava. Indirect damage is when the part of the plant damaged is not the part to be harvested. For example, the root system of wheat plants or leaves of the potato plant. Indirect damage generally does not significantly impact crop production and yield. Insect pests are categorized by their feeding behaviors. Insect pests have 3 basic feeding patterns. These patterns are biting and chewing, sucking, or boring. Agriculture is affected by insects in all 3 feeding categories. Each will be further explored in this presentation.